Alright, as promised, here's my gun video. Before I start, I am not an armorer. I am not an expert on firearms. So any information that I give you in this video in general is for entertainment purposes only. Take everything I say with a grain of salt. I'm sure some of you know a lot more than I do. But, it's just, this video is just for you to enjoy and for me to show off my gun, pretty much. So, alright, here we go. This is a Smith & Wesson model 1911 SC. The SC stands for, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but Scandium. Scandium, I believe, is or from what I can see on the internet, is a micro element that they add to the aluminum. This is an aluminum frame. Steel slide, aluminum frame. You can see the difference in the color there, the steel and the aluminum. Anyway, they add the scandium to the aluminum to strengthen it. This model 1911, as you can see from the drilled trigger, the hammer, and the aluminum frame, is meant to be more of a lightweight 1911. It's still a fairly heavy gun. It's not terrible, but compared to some other firearms that I've shot, this one is a little bit heavier, but an all-steel 1911 is considerably heavier than this. This gun is the 1911s in general. Just their design is, to me, very, very comfortable, very balanced, very accurate. I just love the gun all around. It's a good gun. So, with that said, we'll take a look at the 1911 round, or the round that this 1911 in particular fires. This cartridge here is a 45 ACP. It's a hollow point. It's a self-defense cartridge. The 45 ACP, the ACP stands for Automatic Colt Pistol. Colt, obviously from May the 1st, 1911, in 1911. So the model 1911 fired the 45 ACP. And ACPs can be in a lot of different calibers, but the majority of the 1911s fire the 45. The 1911, and once again, this is a Smith & Wesson. This is not a Colt. Colt, as you guys know, are the originals on the 1911. The Colt 1911 was used by the United States military for the majority of the 20th century as their standard sidearm. It's pretty amazing that the same technology that was used in World War I was used in the Vietnam War, up in the 60s. So it's just a design that worked, and I guess it's kind of like the M16. They're still using it, but I guess it's debatable whether or not that design works. But so let's see. I've covered everything. So I'll go ahead and cut the video here, and then I'll try and get my camera set up, and we'll go ahead and I'll show you a tear down of how I clean it, and how I do things. So stand by. Okay, guys. The first thing I do when I'm cleaning the weapon is I take, and this goes for any pistol or long gun or anything. You have to make it safe. What I do is I'll take all my ammunition, my magazine with ammunition, any box of ammunition, anything, and I'll put it in another room. I don't want it anywhere around this. There's stories of guys that thought their magazine was empty. They got their gun cleaned or whatever, racked it and it went off. There's any number of different ways that you can hurt yourself. So the first thing I do here is I'll put the weapon back to slide lock. Okay. I'm going to visually and physically inspect the gun. So basically what I'm saying with that is I'm going to look inside here. That's a visual. You can see out through the bottom of the magazine well there. So you know there's not a magazine inside. And physically, put my pinky right up inside there. That way I can feel if there's a round that's seated in there and for some reason didn't pop out. That's happened before. So I know there's not a round inside, and there's not a cartridge inside there, and I know there's not a magazine in the weapon as well. So we know we don't have any rounds inside of in the gun. Alright. As you can see, it's kind of a pain in the ass without that little wrench. I don't know why I still haven't bought one. But I don't really fire the weapon that much, so yeah, it kind of sits on the shelf. But another thing that I didn't mention, whenever you're handling any kind of gun, I was always taught and trained that if you, in your military or gun enthusiast guys might know this, or I'm sure will know this, there's never any reason to put your finger on the trigger unless you intend to fire the weapon and destroy anything that this gun is pointed at. I always keep my finger up on the frame right here, right by the slide, till I'm ready to fire. Even if I'm out and I've got, let's say I have multiple targets, so I'll fire it at one target, and if I'm sweeping to another, I'll have my finger back up in the frame, and I'll evaluate, and I'll get my sight picture, and I'll put it back on there. It's a split second to, and a lot of, like I said, a lot of military or SWAT or just basic gun training in general will tell you that. So, but like I said, I'm not an expert. There's guys out there, there's probably guys that are watching now that are a lot better than I am. So, like I said, entertainment purposes only. Just Hagen, I think this might have more parts than a Harbor Freight gun. I'm not sure, but I think it does. That's about it, guys. And I just wanted to say that, the Beetle here, I'm going to get that licked. I'll get that figured out. I'm not too worried about it now. I sat back and I recovered from my heartbreak, and I'll be back on it. And you know, it kind of amazed me how many people you know, jumped on it and asked me if I needed anything, and you know, made videos, you know, to help me. And that's just boy, that's a huge thing, guys. That's awesome. And one thing I wanted to add to, when I said that I would have to sell parts to get primer and everything, it's not saying I don't have the means to buy it. I do. You know, I'm not, you know, I'm not trying to sound like I'm a, you know, a case for for anybody, but I do have the means to buy the materials. My wife and I, since we have a baby coming, we made a deal that, you know, the only money I spend on the car is money that I sell parts with, and I think that's fair. So, you know, that's the deal with that. So, you know, but yeah, there you go. And oh, there's my new baby there. I always wanted a lawn tractor, and there it is, little Cub Cadet. It's a Cub Cadet 1515. Bought that off the guy next door. He's an older gentleman that every spring he takes it, sharpens the blades, greases everything up, changes the oil, and he's decided that he's going to get a John Deere. So, you know, his lawn is pretty much the only thing that he has anymore since he's retired. So he's taking good care of that, and I got that for $700. And that's not a Home Depot Cubby. That's one from a dealer. So, you know, it's got the Kohler engine and all that. So, so I'm happy about that. But all right, guys, that's my gun video. You guys take it easy.